What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we are jumping in with another Destiny 2 video. Over the last couple of weeks, Bungie have started to talk about Renegades and the future of Destiny, or at least the immediate future a little bit more. And we get a small amount more of that today with the promise of a lot more next week. So the huge TWID is not necessarily so huge today, but it does have a very important update regarding reveals. So there'll be a new developer live stream coming up. Bungie also talk about the launch of the dungeon. They reiterate a few important points regarding the race for that, and highlight additional reveals and things that we've had this week. Otherwise, a known issues list, some stuff related to Call to Arms. They touch again on the content calendar and things like that, so we'll break it all down, guys. If you enjoy this one, a rating very much helps us out on the channel, but without further delay, let's get into it. So, as we can see from the rundown here, Bungie say you've got a date with, well, us. This week in Destiny, we're revealing our next Renegades developer livestream and Equilibrium dungeon race details. We'll also share a new content calendar and dev insight article for the next expansion, which drops in less than 2 weeks. Time may be a construct, but there isn't much of it left before Renegades, so we better jump into the topics for this installment, which are pretty much the ones we've already listed. So getting into it, tune into the next Renegades developer livestream. I actually didn't think we would necessarily get this. We don't typically have kind of live reveals the week before an expansion, at least not at this point. Maybe I'm mistaken there, but anyway, they say, join us Tuesday, November 25th at 10 AM Pacific time on Twitch, YouTube, or TikTok for the next developer livestream, where we'll be debuting Destiny 2 Renegades launch trailer and the second Renegades Vidoc, which will be covering blasters, new exotic gear, and much more. We'll then plot a course to Tharsis Outpost, where our dev team leading a deep dive gameplay preview of the new Lawless Frontier activity. So actually, that will be pretty good because, while we get the general vibe and we have seen some exotics, some new weapons, and brief previews for the Lawless Frontier, obviously this will go into a lot more detail about precisely how the game mode will work, what the rewards will look like, what the mechanics kind of look like, the so-called abilities, which of course aren't traditional abilities, but more things like turrets, vehicles, and all that kind of stuff. But either way, we're going to get a much better look at it next week. I'm really curious to check that out. As always, I will keep you up to date with all of that when we get to it. But if you want to unlock a unique emblem for watching this live reveal, Bungie say we can get the new Seekers Not Saints emblem for watching 15 minutes of the Twitch broadcast. So if you've got your Bungie.net account linked to Twitch, you'll be eligible for that. And of course, if you want to do it, they do have the link in the TWID, so that will be in the description box below. Otherwise, in terms of upcoming reveals, they say, in addition to the developer livestream next week, they'll have a dev insight preview on ability tuning and an artifact preview in the next TWID, which will drop on Wednesday next week. So obviously with it being Thanksgiving and stuff, they will drop that a little bit early. Otherwise, they talk about the dungeon zone returning for Equilibrium. So last week they revealed the new dungeon, which will be dropping on December 13th next month. So it'll be the week after Renegades actually drops, which is good. There'll be a pre-show featuring interviews with Bungie developers, previous dungeon race winners. This is the live stream component. And for anyone watching, there'll be a chance to earn game codes and additional goodies. But for the dungeon race itself, the guidelines we provide for the epic Desert Perpetual race are carrying over to the Equilibrium dungeon race to provide a quality viewing experience. So if you want to qualify for the title of World First, streaming is required, but only one member of the fire team actually has to stream. The stream must be on YouTube, Twitch, or Bilibili, and set to video on demand so that the stream actually saves. Otherwise, the team member streaming may hide portions of their screen, but they must either use an overlay provided, which Bungie say will be provided soon, or use their own version that blocks the designated areas covered in the overlay. Importantly, team members cannot use additional overlays to block other portions of the stream, even as a joke. And the overlay is only needed during the competition. On top of that, game audio must be on for all times, but players may mute their voice audio, and the streaming team member must submit information using a contact form which is linked in TWID before December 13th. So that's basically how it works. Obviously, probably doesn't apply to most people there, but there's that interesting component of, even if you're not a full-time streamer or something, if you now want to get involved in the actual race part, someone on your team is going to have to stream it, otherwise you would never be eligible. So that is that component. Otherwise, they point out we did get the armor tuning preview this week. I've got a video breaking down those changes from yesterday, so that's linked below. They talk about Winter's Guile, Omnioculus, and Dune Marchers, which are getting some juicy buffs. And on top of that, they highlight the content calendar in case you happen to have missed it. So the team has been focused on continuing to make improvements to power and progression, quality of life updates, and the start of a new weekly ritual alongside brand new activities and systems in Renegades. which we should bear in mind is actually broken up into 2 updates. So the first one is on December 2nd when Renegades drops, and then there's another which is the following week. Obviously, Renegades includes the campaign, Lawless Frontier activities, also an exotic mission, then the dungeon, the new weapon types like the Praxic Blade, blasters, with the continuation of Edge of Fate's featured gear, so everything featured right now will still be just as useful in Renegades, which is good. They also announced the vault space increase, sorting improvements, universal exotic armor ornaments, and the 300 power catch-up. You'll spot some new activity content in there as well, like a new solo ops and the return of things like Derealize. So all of that and the other general updates to the game land on the 2nd of December. Then the following week, which is the 9th of December, there'll be update 9501. That's where weekly rituals and Vanguard alerts are introduced. So that's a Nightfall-esque playlist of activities that'll be featured with bonus rewards and additional power on a weekly basis. Otherwise, they'll support the game with live events and things rolling out after that. The only other components in the TWID this week, though, Bungie tease a Black Friday sale, so that'll be for the Bungie store, and they say stay tuned to the Bungie store socials on Twitter and Instagram for more information. I guess we'll get those details tomorrow. Is tomorrow Black Friday? I don't even know, to be honest. Otherwise, TWID has known issues, Artist of the Week, and a few other things in there, so you can check that out linked below. But for today, that is everything they speak about. I kind of almost expected to get the artifact preview this week or other kind of system reveals and things like that. But importantly, the developer livestream will arguably do a better job of actually showing the stuff off next week. So that'll be a pretty big moment immediately ahead of Renegades drop-in, where there is a lot of conversation about this being make or break for Destiny 2. Honestly, I'm just looking forward to having something new to do for a little bit. We should all be bearing in mind that Renegades is not really going to revolutionize Destiny 2 as it currently stands. It will provide new content in the bubble of the Renegades expansion and improve a lot of things about the portal, but as Bungie have alluded to, further updates, in 2026, this roadmap, the actual real roadmap, is something Bungie are taking longer to work on, so it's possible that that will be later in the winter, maybe even spring of next year, who knows at this point. I will, as always, be keeping you posted though. If you found the video today helpful, a rating really does help me out on the channel. Also, be sure to get subscribed, and I'll keep you posted with more content, but otherwise, thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day.
6. Everything you've shown me, I've made real. I've marshaled a new Imperium to snuff out the light. My violence is yours. You know what comes next. Give me strength.